SoFloRadio.com, and SoFloTelevision.com. Since the dawn of civilization, the elusive quest in pursuit of the perfect drink continues to evolve. Now more than ever, we reap the rewards of this passion. The perfect vintage, the finest brew, or a spirit of optimum age and class. And now, SoFloRadio.com invites you to discover the wonderful world of booze by the glass.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to By the Glass Show. I'm your host Brett Hubbard, and I'm welcoming you to another wonderful segment of beverage culture. We have a wonderful show in store for you tonight, and I'm joined by. We
have a wonderful store and show for you tonight.
we have one of those too. Come down to the store, see it all. It's all for sale here at the Beverage Culture Show. Georgie Boy is on the board over here, and we call him Ivan Bad in this wonderful hour because he's always bad.
I got a brand new pair of glasses. I fished them out of the garbage.
Yeah, they look good. They smell like fish.
Yeah, they were broken, and so that's my only.
Just like our souls, man.
So
right?
Does it make me look smarter?
You look sexy.
Okay, yeah, really?
Absolutely.
I was going for smarter, but sure, I'll take that.
They kind of both go hand in hand, and of course, we're just absolutely wonderfully pleased to be joined by Tineke Hansma. She is the National Accounts Manager for Lucas Bols. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And it's the history of gin, and it's such a wonderful history it is, and really to find more history in spirits or in most beverages actually, other than beer, wine too, I guess you could say. Well, you know, it's really hard to do. I mean, such a succinct and laid out specific history of the of this wonderful spirit and where it really all started and how it's kind of taken the world by storm again, and that's really what you're a testament to with this wonderful product. And these are the guys that kind of started it all as well, right?
Correct. We are the oldest continuously operating company in the world, actually, not just distilled spirits.
It's insane. I mean, like,
I know.
I'm looking at this timeline, like, oh my lord, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, the Dutch, where Lucas Bols, of course, is a Dutch company in Holland, and they're known for a lot of things. I mean, really, you know, even this country was New Amsterdam before it was New York. I mean, they had their hands in everything, kind of. Huh?
I know, it's funny. I always tell the story. I said, well, we traded New Amsterdam for Suriname with the British back in the day, but at least we held on to Suriname a whole lot longer than the British did to the
I
US.
bet you like only like 1 out of 10 people could even tell you where Suriname is, right? Off the coast of South America, right?
Yeah, right next to French, British Guiana.
Can you name the founder of New Amsterdam?
Wow, I can't.
Peter Stuyvesant.
Stuyvesant. There's cigarettes in Amsterdam that have that name.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm from New York, and there was like Stuyvesant Plaza. Stuyvesant was everywhere in New York. So
yeah.
That's funny. Yeah,
ask me about
good.
the colonies.
All right, well, this guy does. History with George.
Right?
Fantastic. So it's an amazing spirit, an amazing history, and we'll get right into it. Let's talk a little bit about the beginnings, because most people, when they think of gin, they think of England. And there is an English gin, but how does the Dutch gin differ?
Well, really, in two senses, they stole our shit, okay?
Right.
I'm just saying.
On the line.
Okay?
Absolutely.
We're creative enough to come up with our own stuff. But what had happened was, the Dutch founded the East India Trading Company, the Dutch version of that. And Lucas Bols, our founding father, was actually a pharmacist and one of the key owners in the East India Trading Company. And one of the advantages that we had is that we had first access to all these herbs and spices coming from all over the world.
Wow.
So we also made a product known as Genever. So
it was an elixir initially.
Well, no, that was the liqueur. So we started with the liqueurs. Genever didn't start until the 1600s. It's also when it was first mentioned. So liqueurs were made for medicinal purposes.
Okay.
And then they found, hey, it makes me happy too. So, yeah. So how Genever started was that back in the day before column distillation, and so column distillation allows for a neutral grain spirit like vodka.
Right.
Or the gin that we know. It's basically what we call the first flavored vodka because it's a neutral grain spirit infused with botanicals.
Okay.
But back in those days, they couldn't make that. So everything was made, well, we say it was either beer-based or wine-based.
Right, kind of like they've come back around to that today to get around tax laws. When you see like a malt-based beverage,
correct,
kind of the same thing, right?
Yes. So back then they were making beer-based basic grain, rye, hops, or wine, your ursos, grappas, wines. So what the Dutch did, they basically created a base from, we call it malt wine, which is very deceptive because it's not what you Americans would consider. It's not wine at all.
Right.
So it's a combination of grain, corn, rye, and then it was awful.
Yeah. It was kind of like the guys out there with the 50-gallon blue drum, and they pour all that corn in there, and the white lightning guys.
Swill.
They just pour it in there and make a mash out of it.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same what people were doing everywhere. So in the U.S., to make it more palatable, they were aging it in oak barrels, creating bourbon. And in the Netherlands, what they were doing to make it more palatable, we added juniper berry.
Right.
And juniper berry, the name for that in Dutch is Genever bes.
Does that actually originate from Holland?
Correct.
Okay.
So Genever bes is Dutch for the Dutch name for juniper berry.
Mm-hmm.
And so hence the name Genever.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what we created. So this was like the granddaddy before gin was even possible of making it.
Is that how you pronounce it in Dutch?
Genever.
Genever?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
So the British, how the British came to steal our shit, basically.
They also stole that East India Trading Company because that's where IPA comes from.
Yeah, just so you know, the Dutch East India Trading Company was a whole lot more successful than the British one. Okay, we were on it.
You guys were everywhere, man. I mean, you could find the Dutch just all over the world in that time. I mean, and looking at this timeline here, and it looks like they founded their British one in 1612. So you guys were probably, I mean,
years ahead of
New
them.
Amsterdam was like in the 1500s, right? 1500s. So I mean, you were out there well before then, and very successful.
And the Dutch were the first one to trade with Japan. Japan didn't want any outsiders, but the Dutch were the first ones that have access to that. So how did the British become to take our gin? Genever. They went to two wars together. It's an Anglo-Dutch war, the first one, and then was the second one. And after the second one, actually, our king married their Dutch queen at the time, and they ended up ruling together. But before we went into battle and got ourselves gruesomely killed, we would take a shot of Genever, and the British were like, damn, these Dutch people are so courageous. So they called it Dutch courage.
Yeah, there you go. Huh? That's
Great.
interesting. You've heard that one before, right, Joe?
Absolutely.
In your colonies study?
So they went back to England, and they were like, you know what, we need some Dutch courage. So they created their own version of of Genever, and they called it gin.
So from my understanding, what I remember, the first distilled spirits were actually, I think they were monks that were from North Africa that had perfume stills that brought them in up through Africa, through UK into Ireland, and they started to distill Irish whiskey right around like 1400s or something like that. So that probably the distillation then got over to Holland after that, and that's when you started to actually be able to distill the spirit.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, I would know that that's what happened.
My history knowledge started in 1575.
Okay, that's probably where it started. I mean, because the first, and it was kind of surprising to me because I thought to myself, Irish whiskey? I mean, well, the Irish are a bunch of drunks. Of course, everybody knows that. But they were the first ones to make whiskey because they had the first distillation because of the actual perfume stills that came out of North Africa. Because the mosques of Spain and North Africa, they were not allowed to make alcohol because they're Muslims. So they would actually make perfume
More
out
for
of
us.
it. Right. Exactly. So they would actually bring these stills up, and I imagine they made their way into Holland right around the time you guys started making this gin, distilled spirit. And what time is that now?
It's about 1600s.
Okay.
I think we started. So the difference between, let's say, a liqueur is that it's infused and macerated or
So like
percolated.
a liqueur and a cordial are kind of the same in your world?
Okay, so we don't
You've
like
been
to use
shying
the
away
word,
from that word.
Yeah, we don't like the word cordial.
Okay.
Cordial is an American term that is used in Europe for non-alcoholic syrup, basically.
Oh, did you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, jeez.
So when Americans say our, it's funny. It's our owner Van Doorne. He when he went, he's from the Netherlands, and he started at Remy a long time ago, and we went to the U.S. and he's like, "Why do you call this cordials? Our beautiful liqueurs."
Yeah.
So point well made. I mean, so we are a liqueur line. We are not a cordial line. We definitely all our products have alcohol in it, and it's a combination of a liqueur base. Cane sugar base or beet sugar base, and then we source different things for different liqueurs. So sour apple, we literally tried different apples.
Okay, so that's a great, thank you for pointing that out. So a lot of people, when they look at spirits, I mean, rum is made from sugar cane. Vodka can be wheat, potato, grain. Scotch is barley. It's actually a beer that's then distilled after it's peated and smoked. On and on and on. You guys are beet sugar.
Beet sugar in Europe and cane sugar in the U.S.
Okay, so you're using. Isn't that interesting that they're using the same natural spirit? I mean, they're using the same element to make the spirit as rum, as Bacardi would use.
Yeah, so the to call something a liqueur, it basically needs to have a certain amount of sweetness into it.
So the beets are actually a very good source of sucrose, correct? Sugar.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
we have a
very
lot of them back home, so it's like very easy, accessible, not super expensive.
We actually, there was somebody else that we had a spirit on a long time ago, I remember, and Jason, who's not here today. By the way, we miss you, Jason. He and his beautiful baby. By the way, congratulations to Jason for his beautiful baby, Zoe Jane, gorgeous little girl. But he had said to the guy on the phone, "Is it made with beet sugar?" And the guy almost actually flipped out on us. It was the funniest thing ever. And we were like, "Where the hell did you pull that out of your ass? Beet sugar?" You know what I mean? But it turns out he knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
So fantastic. And this is the core the liqueur line we're talking about. But the actual Genever the gin, what's the base of that?
So it's malt wine and malt wine. This
Still is. So it's the base of a grape.
No.
So it's malt.
Okay, so malt wine
Malted
is
barley?
malt wine is the Dutch saying of it. So literally translated, it's malt wine.
But I mean, is it barley grain? Is it wheat grain? What type? What's the original?
Grain,
corn. Okay, corn.
rice. It's a mixture
Of those three.
of
Okay.
those three.
Okay.
And then so it's basically an unaged whiskey base almost.
Okay.
Like a moonshine base. And then it's 50-50 now. So in 2007 we got an AOC appellation.
Sure. A contrôlé.
And that time it says to call it our Genever, which is the product that we have right there.
Okay.
Old Genever has to have at least 50% of this malt wine base.
Okay.
And then 50% neutral grain spirit, because in 1820s, when this was the recipe that our current product is based on, now neutral column distillation has been invented.
Right.
And it just balances out the spirit a little bit, because if you just drink straight up the malt wine, it's very strong.
Right.
So
that's like the difference between, let's say, Scotch, which is 100% barley grain, and bourbon, which has at least 51% corn in it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice bourbon is a much sweeter. American spirits are much sweeter. American whiskey is much sweeter than English Scotch or Scottish Scotch.
You really taste it. If you taste like the difference between, I brought a gin and a Genever, the Genever really has a sweeter, rounder, maltier finish.
Well, I guess we can kind of dip into a little bit. It's
Yeah,
gin, and we're
kinda-
drinking straight gin, so I didn't want to dip too
If
soon.
Jason were
because
here-
we're back. You know what I mean?
Well, we could
so,
sip
but
on it.
let's look at some of these bottles here, and we have a wonderful array, so you guys can see at home. And we're going to let Tineke tell us about she'll do her Vanna White on what she's brought with us today.
Okay, so let me start with this bottle.
Okay.
Try that. I can
Nice.
Talk. What?
Whoa.
We might break the studio here.
It's okay.
Right.
All right, so going back to the history, this is an old a bottle that people in the 16, 17, even 1800s would literally take this bottle, and it was multi-purpose. It was
That
meant
is cool.
used for water, wine, and Genever or gin, even in England.
And music.
And it's made of ceramic, or
It's
is it
ceramic,
pottery?
So it's a ceramic. Here, you can.
How
it
is
has like the distillery right here.
Is this a replica, or are
No,
these
no, this is the real deal.
the real deal? Wow.
Yes.
So I love
I've
antiques too.
been
This is
buying
beautiful.
these on eBay.
Have you really?
Yes.
This is absolutely gorgeous. Check
I've been
that out.
totally like hawking.
And you get those from George.
Right?
He's an old school hippie.
I learned that in the hills.
So people would
It's
literally
beautiful.
take this and go to the distillery and fill it up and then
Right.
take it home.
Yeah.
And a little funny tidbit actually about gin is the name bathtub gin in England and came from because people did clean water, and gin was the same price in England at the time. So they
Wow.
were like, okay, choices. So
Wow.
they went to get gin, and then they would go home and dump it in their bathtub. And
Wow.
they literally would drink out of their bathtub.
That's insane.
So but it would be a jug similar to that.
Boy, we take those Zephyr Hill bottles really for granted, huh? Jeez. Only $1. 7-Eleven.
This is
That's
actually
beautiful.
Genever as it was in the U.S. in the 70s. So there's a long
Okay.
standing history with Genever. And
And
the
they
US.
they came in these bottles even back then?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
So Genever was the predominant gin in the U.S. until about the early 1900s.
Okay.
And when Jerry Thomas wrote his first cocktail book and he refers to gin or Holland style gin, he really always talks about Genever and not an English style gin, except for when he talks about old time gin. So a lot of the cocktails, when they tried to recreate it at first, they were using a London style dry gin, and they didn't come out very good.
Wow, that's amazing. So these are some really cool bottles of what used to come in back in the day, and this is what you
Yeah.
see. I kind of remember seeing something like this now that I think about it. I mean, like if it was the 70s, I remember seeing something
So
kind of similar to this
cool story
ceramic
with this
style
too is
bottle.
Genever and jazz have a long history. So
Oh.
Ray Charles had in his rider that he wouldn't go on stage unless he had a bottle of Genever, and there's pictures of him with the bottle just like this.
Wow.
And I think a big reason for that at the time was a lot of jazz artists from the U.S. were going to the Netherlands. Like Nina Simone lived in the Netherlands. A lot of them really loved Europe because there was no segregation, there was
Right.
no racism.
Right.
We really embraced the culture.
Right.
So this in Holland, Genever outsells as a category vodka 4 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just imagine 17 million liters.
That's amazing.
All right, so this is the first thing we're gonna try.
Okay.
And this is Genever. So we call this Ouwe Jenever.
Okay, so you call it Ouwe Jenever, and that's
Mm-hmm.
a really cool. She speaks, of course, it's her native tongue, Dutch so well. But I've been to Holland 2 or 3 times, and I've only been to Amsterdam. I know, but I've actually went to Edam too. I went to Edam on a bike tour. It was wonderful. It was great because it's like this wonderful little town, and they take you out on a bicycle tour, and you go past the windmills, and then they're like every single brick that is replaced in this town has to be replaced with an original brick very similar to it. Like it's a completely historical town, beautiful, and we made cheese and clogs. It was gorgeous. It was very cool. But the language is very hard, kind of looking. You know what I mean? It looks like it's got like a long but when you say it, it sounds so fluid and sweet.
This
you
one
know
has
what I
more
mean?
in it. That's why I traded.
A lot of Dutch people that are not familiar with the language are like, it just sounds like you're spitting a lot. I'm like, really? That's what we say about Arabic, you know?
Arabic,
Like-
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Wow, so interesting. So give us some of your notes right off of your nose, because women have such great perception of all senses and smells.
So when you smell it,
Yeah.
and I think you smell through the juniper berries. It has some other botanicals in it, but I can really get the juniper berries, sweet,
Yeah.
malty.
Now, do you think they went through a certain process of picking many different types of herbs, or just the juniper berries were the ones that were abundant, and they just work so well?
Well, the juniper berries is the main ingredient, like it's the core ingredient in gin. But in Holland, there's 20 different distilleries, and each area will make their own version of Genever, and that's a botanical distillate that's added on to the juniper berries that already consist in the product. So,
You know what's interesting about this is I used to drink gin martinis because that's the original martini.
man.
Is gin martini, and it's just really good gin like this.
Sure.
Of course,
It's just an
you
excuse
just
to
pour
drink
some
gin.
dry vermouth in the thing.
ice.
You dump it back out. You pour the gin in there, shake it up, and then you're
took a
good to
lesson.
go. But this right here
I'm getting
almost
some
tastes,
vanilla. Like
it almost tastes like a gin martini to me, straight up. I mean,
well, isn't it nice that it's not like drying your throat after you swallow it?
it's very nice actually. It's a very elegant drink. It's very delicate, and you can taste all of the flavors in there. And I get like honestly, we had there was a local distillery who came in, the Alchemy Distillery, and these guys made like a wheat whiskey and a few other different whiskeys, and that really raw, natural sense of just a fresh product. I kind of get that from this too.
Anchor Distilling makes their version. You know Anchor Steam
Sure,
beer.
of course.
They
We've
actually-
had them on, the Anchor Spirits guys. David King, who's the guy that runs the joint.
Yeah, so
He called in.
they make Genevieve, which is Genevieve is a gin in the
it's
Dutch
the
style. It's a
Juniper Hill,
Genever
right?
Style. No, it's called Genevieve.
It's called Genevieve? Oh, okay.
And it's a juniper. It's a Genever style gin. They can't call it Genever because it's not produced in the Netherlands according to the AOC. Like you can't call something Bordeaux if it's not made
Right.
there. But it's a similar style.
This is exquisite.
yes, it is. And I love
So,
gin.
The funny thing is in U.S. it's really a cocktail spirit. People drink Genever here in like a last word. A lot of the classics and old fashioned.
I'm a gin and tonic fan, like the squint of lime, and I just love it. Just a slight bit of tonic on that crushed ice, man. I could drink that all night. Squint of
Absolutely.
lime. You know
My
what I mean?
favorite is like a last word with this, which is really simple. It's Genever. We call it the latest word.
Okay.
It's a Genever, maraschino liqueur, green chartreuse, and lime juice, all equal parts. And
Wow.
drop a little maraschino cherry in there.
Sounds very crisp.
It looks like a little Martian,
so
huh?
good.
What does that come out to, like a fuchsia?
Yeah, it kind of depends. Sometimes it's clearer than others.
So this is amazing. We're here with Tineke, and she's explaining all these wonderful products, and we're sipping on the Bols Genever, which is one of the original gins. Now, talk to me about European, like English gin, like Bombay or something like that, like a Sapphire, and how this differs from that, in your opinion, and a little bit of history on the English gin as opposed to this.
Okay, so the big main difference between an English style gin and Genever is its base spirit. So how we have a base of the corn and the rice and the grains and that where you get that maltiness from, that doesn't exist in London style gin. So London style gins are basically a neutral grain spirit like vodka.
Right.
So column distillate, neutral grain, and then they add botanicals, and one of them will be at least juniper berries. And the Bombay, the Sapphires, the Beefeaters, the Tangers, they are heavier on juniper and less on other botanicals, and it's a neutral grain spirit. So juniper on its own is very like dry and has that like dryness to it. And so when you drink like a Sapphire or a Beefeater, you get that in the finish where it's just, it's that dry, the juniper aftertaste. And that's not everybody's cup of tea. Now, obviously it's a lot of people's cup of tea. I lived in London, and you will drink Sapphire, you'll drink Tanqueray, and
they call it an extra dry gin for
exactly.
that reason, right?
And it's a lot of people, it's their taste, but there's a lot of people right now that were your flavored vodka drinkers that are bored with that, which is, a dying category, that the flavor's becoming less and less.
Well, I hope so, man. I remember when I worked for Premier up in Jacksonville in 2004, every day I had a flavored vodka.
Bacon flavored, honey syrup flavored.
It was insane.
Can I have a breakfast mojito?
I mean,
with
who's
going to
drink all
flavor?
this stuff? It's just insane. I mean, I can understand, we sold a lot of cherry bombs. We had the Three
Grape
Olives
bombs.
cherry vodka. We sold a ton of that. And, maybe some orange Stoli or something.
Well,
understandable.
The flavor, there's
Stoli and Raz. Stoli Raz. Okay.
There's a place for certain flavors. There's flavors that you can't, are hard to create. Maybe so. For example, a flavored vodka that's popular now is bison flavor, Bisou, I think it's called.
Really?
It's a bison. It's like a grass or something, but it has a unique flavor, and it's used in.
I was going to say bison.
Not bison.
Freshly
It's
squeezed
like
bison. in there.
I've been eating bison burgers lately.
Right?
I have,
They
man.
squeeze the bison or they steep the bison.
It's like a
Steeped
grass.
bison.
It's like a grass type.
Okay, like bijou or something like that.
Infused.
No, it's like a grass.
Okay.
It's a type, and they use it at these high-end mixology craft, places like.
Kind of gives you like a an herbal sense.
Yeah, like
to
the
it.
Region Cocktail Club, they had it there, and I was like, oh, I didn't think you did flavor it in. They were like, no, this is different. It's almost like a liqueur vodka.
Oh
So-
well.
Oh well.
Yeah.
But I think it's yeah.
It's an interesting and different flavor from the European the English style gins.
Yes.
By far. So
Yes.
not drying, not extra dry, different bases, and the fact that you use corn and rice and all that stuff. I think that's what I smell in it.
The corn?
Yeah, right.
The
You use
grain?
corn. You said right.
Yeah, right.
I smell the corn. I think, don't you?
I do now.
That's what it is.
Gives
It's
it that
corn.
sweetness.
You know what? We had we were doing White Dog on the show. We were doing it's called. I think it was Jim Beam had a White Ghost.
Yes.
Jim Beam Ghost, and it was just mostly corn. And about 20-30% other grains and whatnot, and they call it Ghost because basically it's bourbon that has not been put in a barrel. They call it Ghost whiskey, and that's what I got off. It was a really nice.
It is. It's
This kind of knows a little bit of a corn, and it really is a wonderful mixer. It's also just great straight. I love it. So.
Well, there's a very simple drink that you guys at home can make, and you can buy this at Total Wine, if I can say, because Bols Genever, if you want to do something unique. But just add ginger beer, and it's called the Dirty Dutch. And yes, so the drink came up with DJ Chucky. He's a DJ out of the Netherlands, and his type of house music is called Dirty Dutch music. So he loves Genever and ginger beer, and I'm like, oh, this will totally fly in America. People like dirty names and stuff.
George,
yes, we do.
George puts his gin in the microwave and makes a Dutch oven, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I was going to say
that I don't know if I would say I would drink that off a cocktail menu. Let me tell you, so
fantastic. Well, I think it's absolutely amazing that this spirit is so just pure and simple and wonderful, and it's taking the world by storm again. I mean, it's interesting, and it's also kind of in part to the whole company, Lucas Bols. I mean, you guys handle a lot of other brands besides just gin, correct?
correct. So we have the Bols liqueur range.
Uh-huh.
So I always say we have the Dutch portfolio and the Italian portfolio.
Oh, okay. So the liqueur, does that fall into the Italian portfolio?
No, Dutch.
Oh, Dutch.
No,
okay.
that's been Dutch. That's like what we started. Before we even thought about Genever, that's what we were doing, make liqueurs. So I brought this bottle. It's Parfait Amour. It's a maraschino, sorry.
Okay. Now, is there maraschino liqueur in there?
This is maraschino
Okay.
liqueur, which I love. But since we've
That's
been...
exciting, yeah.
I know. So since we started in 1575, we had a few flavors that were we call the classics, one of our first ones. And so we're bringing, some of them are not available in the U.S. yet. Maraschino is coming in most markets about next month.
Oh, so you can't even get this in the United
Not
States?
yet.
Wow.
This is completely imported and shipped and smuggled from Amsterdam. Yes.
She smuggled that on the plane, folks.
Oh,
Use your imaginations.
Yes, I smuggle all the time. And now I'm American citizen, so y'all can't throw me out anymore, okay? Totally admitting. That happened recently, let me tell you. Before that, I was like, no, we don't do those things. No.
Yeah.
Prove it. But
Excellent.
some of our original flavors are Parfait Amour, which is coming this summer if the TTB will approve us by God's grace. But Parfait Amour, which is like a blend of lavender, rose petals, it's really soft and gentle.
Wow.
Awesome purple color. When we get it, I will bring you guys a bottle.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Maraschino, which will be coming out here soon. Another one is apricot brandy, which we do have. Orange curacao. And creme de coco white.
Wow.
So those three we have, but these are our first. You know, we've been around forever, and
Yeah, let's dip in.
you can even add it to your Genever
Let's
if
add
you
it
want
to
to
our
get
Genever.
adventurous with
Of
it.
course, I'd love to. I'll taste a little straight, and then I'll add some to my Genever.
Yeah.
So perfect.
And the cool thing too is like our goal is to produce,
Thank you.
functional bottles for the bartender.
Oh yeah, talk to me about I love the size and the shape, the color and the shape, so to speak. I love it. It's beautiful.
Looks like a hand grenade.
Okay, so
I love it. I think
it's
it's kind of looks a little bit more like out of this world, kind of like E.T.
well,
in a good way.
or a bowling pin.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I think
does
the
look like
thing
bowling.
is
Kind of like a
there's-
Rorschach test. What does this look like to you?
So there's bottles from other brands that are, look
Wow,
prettier
that's
on the
insane.
back bar and it costs a lot more and make great products. I mean, nothing against that. But our goal is really to create a product that's going to give you the best quality and it's going to give you ease out of the speed rail. So this bottle was made by bartenders for bartenders, and it's all about making it easier for the bartender to recognize what flavor it is. So we put the flavor right here at maraschino.
Right.
All
It's
the
got
bottles,
nice hand grip.
yes, all the bottles are going to be the same. So it's going to look great in your speed rail or your back bar. We have tied in with Flair community, so maybe you can do Flair, which I can't do, so I'm not going to destroy your studio.
Yeah.
Anthony, on the
Flair's
other
for another
hand,
show
will
once we
totally
get the
make that happen next time.
Okay.
And it's for easy grip. You can
Yeah.
put like two or three bottles. They will all have metal caps right now instead of the plastic ones that break. If you drop
Yeah.
it, this is not going to break.
Closures are important.
It has a metal insert that will prevent sugar clogging, and it's very easily removed with a little pour spout.
And it's a no drip.
And
pour
it's a no
spout.
drip. So, for example, this maraschino is going to come in around $14, $15 a bottle, whereas, let's say, the competition is running $25, $30 a bottle. And same thing with our elderflower, which is amazing, and its super premium competitor will be $30, $35. So it's something you can use every day, and you don't have to compromise taste.
No, absolutely. Now, a lot of the mixology that's going on today, I mean, it's just exploded for you, the liqueur
cheating.
section.
Did I do that right?
You're cheating on you. You took the stuff that you shouldn't mix at all because it's so good.
Oh,
You're
I
the
thought-
wrong thing.
I thought that.
It's
I
barrel
got it right.
aged,
It's fine,
George.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, George. Because I wanted to do something special with the barrel aged because that's like
Yeah,
my
yeah, absolutely.
favorite.
I thought I was getting
He
it
was
right.
doing
Oh,
it
it's
by
fine.
mistake.
You're gonna love this too. It's even
Yeah?
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
It smells great.
I'm so adding
Tell you
this
what.
on. Isn't it?
You know, the
tasty?
marasch, it's so tasty, and I think a lot of people at home, when they think of maraschino cherry, they're going to think overly sweet and whatnot, but there's a lot of herbal aspect to it that comes out. I kind of, now, do you put any juniper or a lot of
No.
different, what do you put in there? Because I'm getting like some really interesting sensory overload of different herbs.
It's
from
very
it,
different.
right? It's not what you'd expect at all, but so good. And when I added it to the gin, so much better. Really
Right?
really
Isn't that
awesome.
good?
Yeah.
So that maraschino is really one of the original. So you see in the 1800s that it's in most cocktails used as a sweetener. It's just maraschino cherries. There's nothing else in it. And maraschino cherries, it's a clear, so it's not that overly syrupy sweet that you get
Yeah.
from those pink cherries.
Right. So maraschino cherries, are they normally?
They're dark purple.
They're a darker purple.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what it is, because the ones that we get in America have
they're
what do they put them in, like
red dye number 2.
Yeah. They like probably bleach them and then add red dye to them and something just to make them look good. I think that's probably what it is.
Maraschino cherry itself is dark purple, and I can eat those all day. They're so good. But they're hard to find. So don't buy the maraschino cherries that you find in your grocery store that are red with the syrup stuff in it.
Right.
Like Filthy Foods actually makes amazing garnishes. And Filthy Foods does these maraschino cherries, and they do stuffed olives. But I'm like, try to always hustle a bottle or like a little can from them. I'm like, I just want this. Screw chocolate. I'll just eat this.
Oh, that's classic. Yeah, I know that definitely they're looking a little bit like out there, those maraschino cherries. They're all red, and that stuff is super. I remember when I was a kid, we used to drink Shirley Temples.
Yeah, those are different cherries.
It was like ginger ale and maraschino cherry juice, right?
Yeah, man.
Well,
cool.
as when I was a kid, we had shandies. It's a little bit of beer, Sprite, and then a maraschino cherry.
Well, the European culture, for beverage is quite different, and it's very, very interesting. So what I want to do, maybe we'll start with that when we come back. But we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to do that. And when we come back, we're going to have a lot of great stuff. We still got Dom Rock and the barrel aged and a lot of cool stuff coming when we come back with By the Glass Show on SoFloRadio.com.
We have such sights to show you.
SoFloRadio.com. Put a team of professional consultants behind your home or business computer with Key Information Solutions, providing solutions to your internet and computing needs while keeping you on the cutting edge of technology. Preventative maintenance and networking support, hardware and custom-built computers. Let Key Information Solutions be your personal tech staff for your home or office with affordable hourly, monthly, or annual rates to fit anyone's budget. Call Key Information Solutions now, 954-973-3374. That's 954-973-3374. Or visit keyinformation.com.
When you're ready to actually lose weight safely and steadily while being monitored by a physician, the Weight Loss Clinic of Dr. Kim Jacobson is there for you. The family medicine practice was established by her father in 1956 and continues as a medical practice that now specializes in weight reduction. Dr. Kim Jacobson joined the practice 20 years ago as both a family medicine practitioner and weight loss specialist. The Weight Loss Clinic utilizes a combination of appetite suppression medication and vitamins to produce great results, usually 3 to 4 pounds per week for most patients. Now you can change your lifestyle while still enjoying your own food, just less of it. They offer a choice of 2, 3, or 4-week plans. So whether you just need to lose a few pounds or a lot, the Weight Loss Clinic of Dr. Kim Jacobson can help you. They're located at 5454 Northeast 4th Avenue in Miami, just 2 blocks west of 54th Street and Biscayne Boulevard. Call them at 305-751-0091. They'll be happy to answer any and all of your questions. That's 305-751-0091. Get started on a beautiful new body today with Dr. Kim Jacobson and the Weight Loss Clinic.
Shock Pop Comic-Con, South Florida's biggest Comic-Con and pop culture experience, comes to the Broward County Convention Center in Fort Lauderdale, February 13th through the 15th, featuring the largest guest lineup ever in South Florida, including Robert Englund, John Waters, Bam Margera, RJ Mitty, Danny Trejo, Elvira, Ralph Macchio, Sylvester McCoy, and more. Reunions from A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Friday the 13th, Demons, The Karate Kid, The Hobbit, X-Men Days of Future Past, Angel, Miami Vice, The Brady Bunch, Sons of Anarchy, and tons more. See the biggest lineup of comic artists and writers ever in South Florida. Tons of animation guests, pro wrestlers, a massive vendor floor including artists, crafters, exhibitors, movie and television studios, over 4,000 square feet of video games and tabletop gaming, original art exhibits, tons of screening, Ink Fusion Tattoo Festival, live music performances, and a cosplay contest with the largest payout ever in South Florida. Join the cast of the powwow, Luis the Artiste, Joe Daddy, and cosplay Scream Queen Chainsaw Sammy, broadcasting live every day from 1 to 3 p.m. Listen live on SoFloRadio.com. Brought to you by ShockPopComicCon.com.
And now we return you to By the Glass.
Right, now that is some groovy music, man, coming back to By the Glass Show. Welcome back.
This is gin and juice, the
I love
lounge
it.
version.
Hey,
Like lounge version?
I was like, Snoop
Very
Dogg,
cool.
what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was a bit
the,
too predictable, so we had to go with the lounge version.
This is the Ray Charles version, man?
the Richard Cheese version.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I like it. It's perfect for what we're doing here today, because what we're doing here today is gin. And, you know, gin has been around the world and then some, and it's brought all kinds of people into its culture, and it's kind of brought cultures together. And it's enhanced cultures, and we're right here with beverage culture making it happen once again. So we're kind of talking a little bit about the styles and the different aspects of gin and where they originated, how they differ, and whatnot. And we have Tineke here, and she's explaining it so eloquently about what the difference was between English and gin from Holland. And because she's from Holland, and I wanted to get into a little bit about some of your customs and cultures and the kind of the things. We were just talking about slow gin. And I kind of was thinking to myself, SLOE, you know. But I remember back in the day when I used to go out to the clubs and the bars, and we used to drink all these crazy drinks, and they would have this slow gin, and it was red, you know. And we get the Red Death and the, you know, all these other kinds of crazy drinks. And I was asking her what it is, and she's like, "Well, I don't really know what it is, but she remembers another crazy drink from Holland."
It's not actually. It's more of an American shot. It was a slow.
really?
Yes, it's an
Okay.
American shot because one of our other brands is Galliano Latentico, and that bottle that nobody knows what to do with. Well, people, you know, people are rediscovering it. But we were looking at some shots that were
That was
popular.
my first liqueur, and I loved it. I thought, alcohol can taste like this? This is amazing.
It's like a bartender's bet, man. When the bottle is empty, you can use it as self-defense weapon.
Sure.
That's, you know,
I
it's funny
mean-
because I'm Italian, and of course, you know that every old Guinea has it on his mantelpiece. You know? So I had it on my mantelpiece my whole life growing up. My grandfather had a bottle of Galliano on the mantle growing up forever, and you know, we were kind of good kids. I didn't really ever sneak it too much. We were, you know, we're Italian, so we were able to take it if we wanted it. But you know, to a certain extent, you know, not like we're sitting there chugging the bottle or anything. But I remember I couldn't really pick out the taste. But what is it? It's a liqueur of what?
Galliano is 37 herbs and spices.
Wow.
I can name maybe 6. But
There's not something specific though.
so it's high on anisette. I think that's really what you're kind of getting out of it.
Okay.
There's some vanilla in there, some coriander. So the funny thing is when you drink it straight, you really get that anisette vanilla notes.
Vanilla. That's
yes.
the one that people actually said. A vanilla liqueur. Okay.
But what we did in 2006, Remy owned the brands for a while. And when we got the brands back under Dutch ownership, well, Galliano was part of that in 2006. We went back to Marici and Quinici. And they actually make, Marici and Quinici.
Are those
In
two
Italy.
guys?
Well, I don't know if they're the original guys that are alive because they've been around forever, but they do distillates for like Prada perfumes, you know.
That's awesome.
So they were the ones in 1896 when the brand was founded by General Arturo Vaccari and Generale Galliano.
Gennaro?
Galliano, yeah, Generale Arturo Vaccari and Galliano. They
That sounds filthy.
Yeah.
like I know you can do all kinds of dirty things with that bottle if you've seen it. So we went back to the original recipe. So it's more complex. It's chartreusien almost in essence, but obviously it's also easy way to like add a little touch to your drink, like a Harvey Wallbanger. Like it's vodka orange juice with a half ounce of Galliano. Suddenly you have a brand new cocktail.
Wow.
Funny story, Golden Cadillac. It's this biker bar in called Poor Reds in Sacramento, and it's a like Harley Davidsons, and they invented the Golden Cadillac, and it's equal parts Bols Creme de Cacao White, Galliano Latentico, and heavy cream, which is awesome. And it's served in a coupe, like kind of like this.
Yeah.
So you see all these big, heavy biker dudes, and like, let me
Well,
have.
it's only an hour and a half away from San Francisco, so. You know.
But back to the shots. Slow, comfortable screw against the wall. Combining two very spirits
George's
that you
favorite
haven't
shot.
heard,
That's right.
Slow gin, Southern Comfort, Galliano. I'm sure there's some
That's
vodka
interesting.
in
So
it, orange juice, I
so
would say.
it really kind of has everything, a little bit of bits and pieces of the names, and then you put it together. And,
Yeah,
and then
slow,
you-
comfortable screw against the wall.
I love it. That's
Mhm.
fantastic.
Like Wallbanger, like
Get it.
Oh, instead of the,
Yes.
instead of the wall banger.
added slow gin and Soko.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yep.
So the Galliano mystery is thus solved. It's mostly, you know, anisette with, of course, because it's Italian, and then vanilla. And then how does it get yellow? That's a,
Vanilla, I would say.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
the
vanilla
yellow.
extract because
Okay.
it's not necessarily colored, but it's
vanilla extract is very dark, like
Mm-hmm.
a dark brown. So just a tinge would give it a nice yellow essence. So there you go. Beautiful.
And the bottle is from the Roman columns.
Is that what it's?
Yeah, that's why they always want to stand out. You know, the Romans, those Italians, they always think they're
Do they
better.
make those in the little? Do they make those in the 187s, the Gallianos?
375s, and they make them now too in the 50 mls, which is really
cute. They do make
cute.
them in the 50s. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get me one of those.
Yeah, they're super cute. Now you
Can
have
I get one of,
a little
Total Wine or something.
Total.
Where do you
Talk to your boy.
Okay. old Ed Roberts. I don't know how much he is our boy anymore.
Please.
We'll get it in for
but
you.
it's cool. It's like it's a neat product that you with just a quarter ounce, half ounce, you can really do some fun stuff with. And we found Harvey. Did you hear that?
No, talk to me about
Oh,
it.
you know Harvey Wallbanger?
Yeah.
The server dude from Southern California that was like lost forever. So we found him. He cleaned himself up. He doesn't look like a bum anymore. And at Tales of the Cocktail, we had him make a grand entrance.
Wow.
There's
So
a
that's
video.
actually named after a person?
Yes. The story was that he banged his head against the wall so many times after drinking a couple of those, and they called it the Harvey Wallbanger. But
Wow.
that's an unofficial story. The facts are that probably some marketing guy was really clever in the 70s, but, we'll take it.
To make something like that stick, though.
Well, it's funny, too. Like, in the 70s, they actually had Harvey run for president. And he actually made it on the ballot. Like, presidential, like...
Well, he only had Jimmy Carter to beat. I mean, Jesus.
I don't think he won. I think...
That's amazing. Wow, that's such interesting stuff. I mean, and I know that, the fact of the matter is that these are really great and interesting products. And when you have so much history behind you, how could it not be just so cool and and hip as the Harvey Wallbanger? So let's
Hey, what
try
old
this.
is new.
Yeah, exactly. So we've gone from the actual Genever itself, and then Damrak. Before we get to the barrel age, let's talk a little bit about Damrak and how it differs and how it's kind of associated with Bols.
Okay, so this is our gin.
Right.
Damrak is actually where the Dutch ships would port. It's our port.
And if you take those two words apart in English, dam, and rack, you know what I mean? It kind of makes sense, right? They dam up against the river and rack themselves up against the side, right? Dam rack.
Okay.
There you go.
I know. I've heard it pronounced a gazillion ways, like Dramak, Dromak, that Amsterdam gin. Like, yeah. Not New Amsterdam gin. It's Dutch gin.
It's funny because, I think that English is so many different languages put together. When I hear people speaking Dutch in Holland or just in general, they have the same cadence as people speaking English. Did you ever notice? Am I all wrong on that? Because it's not like German.
No, don't tell us that.
No, it's not like German at all.
After 2 world wars, we're like,
It's not like German.
German.
If you just sit there, because it's like I've been in Holland and sit there listening to people talking, and it's like, are they speaking English? I can't really tell. And then every single person from Holland that I've ever seen speaks English like perfectly. Like you wouldn't even know that they were Dutch. Like you wouldn't know she was Dutch. I mean, like if she laid it on like with an English American.
You need
accent.
to give me a few more drinks and you'll know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And they all sound just like
I don't know
her.
what that
it's
means.
just amazing, from day one. Like, do they teach you English in the school over there? How does
We
that work?
started learning English at 8 years old.
Sure.
But most European countries will do that. I think the big difference is between why the Dutch speak well English. There's broadcasting laws in other countries that will mandate that it has to be German spoken on public TV for at least 80% or 90% of the time. Those laws don't exist in Holland. We happily give up our language. But and back in the day,
So you
and
guys are
now-
watching stuff American television.
you know, when I grew up, we had 6 channels. I mean,
Yeah.
and now we still only have like 18.
Right.
Nothing like here in America where it's like thousands and options.
Right.
Like, so you really are dependent on public radio. And so growing up in Holland, when there was Saved by the Bell or where there was As Kids, any of these shows are going to be in English with Dutch subtitles. So you're immersed in the language and you
Right.
hear it consistently. So we start learning at 8, which is a young age. I learned that any language you learn before the age of 12
Yeah.
will generate separate pathways in your brain. So now if you start to learn
Excellent.
anything now, then it takes up everything. Like I tried to learn Chinese after I graduated college because I thought I'm getting dumber by the day.
Yeah. Ni hao.
Yeah, that's about it. That's
That's
as
it.
far as
That
I
is-
got. I bought the whole thing, cassettes and everything. I'm like ni hao, shishini, and that's about it. But yeah, so this is Damrak, our gin.
Cool.
And you'll see it's not an English style gin. It's higher on honeysuckle, lemon peel, orange zest. It's very citrusy. True gin.
Okay, fantastic. So
I love this. I'm not a big London
We're
Dry
drinking out of these?
person.
We
No,
should
that's
probably-
for that.
Okay.
But let me
Yeah,
find
let's-
you guys some glasses.
We got.
Well, this might hinder the total
Okay.
essence of the gin because we've already tried the maraschino, which was excellent, by the way. Perfect, George. Here you go.
I'll
So
take
the
that one.
best way to drink that if you do a gin and tonic, just garnish it with an orange. It brings everything to life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
love the simplicity of gin. Like, you can just add like the smallest thing, and it like just brings it out. Ooh, I like this. I like this. Like,
it smells great.
That nose right there. This is great.
And it's a great price point. You know, normally we have these handcrafted artisanal gins, and they run you $40. You can buy a $7.50 for this in like your local Total Wine for $19.99, $20.99. Winn-Dixie liquor stores is very successful with it.
Yeah, this is right up the alley right here. Yeah,
and it's like $20. I mean, you can't get.
This is your classic gin and juice gin, right?
Yep.
A little bit of juice in this.
Very citrusy.
Citrusy. Excellent.
I always say it's a Switzerland of gins. I've always referred to Coors Light as like the Switzerland of beers because Miller drinkers will drink it and Budweiser drinkers will drink it.
Yeah, right.
I feel that way about Damarack. I think there's a lot of times that people say, I hear it all the time, oh, I can't drink gin because when I was in college, I got so wasted. Yeah, we all got wasted on something.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you stop drinking Jack. I mean, come on.
I can't drink Boone's Farm anymore.
And he's tried.
Well, I had these people drinking vodka soda, and I was at this bar, this local sports bar, Stout, and they were drinking vodka sodas, and I did a little, switch and convert. And I'm like, try Damarack gin and tonic with an orange. And they're like, oh, I don't drink. I'm like, dude, I'm buying the drink for you. Shut up. Okay. If you don't like it, how about that? I'll drink it. And and he had it, and he was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So don't knock it just because you don't like, let's say, a London style gin or one. There's so much variety. Yeah. Like, and there's real flavor to it, which I love. So
yeah, it's got a ton of flavor, and it's that citrus flavor. And the funny thing is, a lot of people are drinking, if you look at beer culture, IPAs are really hot right now because everybody loves those really citrusy hops that come off the nose. And this is like such a classic citrus nose right here. Almost like something you get off of an IPA or whatnot,
It tastes great.
And so it's interesting, the whole spice trade thing. I mean, you guys were just putting spices in there, and this is what became of it, right? I mean, like citrus probably wasn't easy. I mean, citrus probably. Did they actually add some type of citrus into this, or like orange peel or whatnot, that type of thing? How did they get that?
I was literally just at the distillery. We have a new one right in Amsterdam, which was awesome to see.
Wow.
And there's 17 different botanicals, and it's 5 different distillations. So they have to figure out which ones go well with which, so the citrus go together. Okay. And they literally put this bag inside this copper still.
And just steep it?
To steep it.
Yeah.
And then they have part that just goes, the middle part
it's
is
called
good.
An Amsterdam tea bag, right?
Yes.
Did you ever get one of those, George?
Oh, just this morning.
I
woke up this morning. Amsterdam tea bag. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
Eat that in the red light district? Okay.
It's actually right by the red light district. Believe it or not. The new
I went to the Grasshopper one night. You ever go there?
Yeah.
It's a Grasshopper bar. Yeah. That place is trippy, man. I'm telling you.
The red light district?
Must not have been the asset I was on, but it must have been the actual bar. No, but this place was out of sight. I mean, it was just a very cool and relaxed place. It's right on the edge of the red light district. I remember the name of it because I was just like, whoa, having a good time.
So our new distillery, the distillery where Damarack's now being made and where our Genevers are being made, it's in next to the Krasnopolsky Hotel, which is on the Dam Square. I always say with the penis-shaped monument, that one.
Oh, that's your favorite monument, George.
Yes.
It's a small alleyway.
It's
you go through the alleyway next to the Krasnopolsky.
And they did use for that. I could tell those veins anywhere.
They have those packages, I will mail you one next time I'm home.
Excellent, please.
Your wife will be happy.
I don't have a wife.
Woohoo.
You can market it. It's a whole new business.
Sure.
So I was wondering, like, I guess the citrus would come, probably in the same way as a lot of other stuff would come. I mean, to get citrus in those days, I mean, they don't grow that kind of thing in Holland.
No. So they really get it from the islands.
Maybe like Africa or whatever.
Well, actually, our oranges are from Valencia.
Okay,
so
Spain,
Italy, it's not that far. We have to cross those because when we travel to like Indonesia and Japan, you really go around. Spain and Italy.
It's a funny thing though. I'm thinking like old school days, but back then they would just like scoot over to Italy and Spain and boom, get some
3
stuff
weeks
that
on
they
a
need.
boat,
Boom.
miserable food, no problem. Done and done.
No scurvy though. No scurvy.
Nope.
Wow, it's so cool. And I say, so what they do now, it's interesting because this type of gin has been infused with many different botanicals and herbals. We know this, but the other one, the original one we tried, the Genever, is more of the pure form, and that enables you to be able to age it correctly.
Well, you could technically. I learned this recently. You could technically age a gin as well. They've done it now. Ransom has a aged old time style aged gin.
Right.
So I mean, technically you can age anything.
Well, I was
but
talking about this barrel.
yeah.
aged,
So the
right?
barrel age really brings out
Right.
the unaged whiskey base, almost like corn, rye, grains, and it drinks almost like a very milder version of a whiskey. But you know, when whiskey is something for women at least, we transition into, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think most people do.
Yeah.
Don't give guys all the credit. I mean, they're not as tough as you think. They're drinking the same beer, light beer, and white wine as women are for the most part to start out.
A lot of those other guys. I would drink whiskey every
I'm talking
day.
about when they start
Yeah.
out.
I love whiskey. I loved it early on.
You transition into it, naturally over time.
Well, I'm still not a bourbon drinker. It's a bit much for me, but like I love a good Scotch. I've grown into.
I went
that.
the other way. I like bourbon because bourbon was sweeter. I started with bourbon, and
Really?
it took a long time to like Scotch.
Well,
for me.
Scotch has the peatiness.
But now I do. I love it now.
Scotch is that peatiness that's similar
Yeah.
to a hop. So if you think of people starting out with a regular beer and then moving to a
Yeah.
hoppier beer, same thing with bourbon. Is a
I
sweeter
love the
to a-
peaty Scotch, man. The peatier, burnier.
Do you like peaty Scotch, or what do you like?
I actually love Macallan. I think
Yeah, good
Macallan's
Scotch.
really
I like
good.
Macallan, but it's not peated.
I
No.
just recently got into.
That's a Highland.
I just recently tried some Japanese whiskeys,
Whiskey, yeah.
which I actually was pleasantly surprised with. The Monkey Shoulder I love, which is a blended. But
I have not tried any Japanese whiskey.
I highly recommend it. It was my first
I will.
time, but I've heard so many good things about it.
I'd love
I
to get
tried
a
a
hold of
couple of
Let's do a
somebody.
Japanese
show. Let's do a
whiskeys.
show
I
on
have
that.
to get a
man.
hold of
Broaden our
somebody
horizons
who
here on By
sells
the
it.
Glass.
I'll work on it for sure.
No,
Yeah.
but seriously, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh my God, I can sip this. This is great.
Wow.
I think there's a difference in if you see that like European palates just run less sweet. In America, everything is sweeter. Your cocktails
Well,
are
that goes
sweeter.
without
Your
saying.
things are sweeter.
Yes.
So the European palate, we eat licorice. Okay, as a
Yeah.
candy,
I
as
love
a kid.
licorice.
I love
So
licorice.
I mean,
But the funny thing
the
is,
salty ones.
Like Sambuca. And,
but the weird thing is that I like that anisette flavored candy as opposed to real
too.
licorice. Real black licorice doesn't taste like
I-
anisette, right?
I mean, not the American ones, but true.
Because I bought like some really high end
you go to
black licorice
Jackson's
that
over
cost
here,
me
and
like
they have the
$5.
gourmet black licorice, and yeah, it's
It cost me like $5 a bag or whatever,
powerful,
and I
right?
was
Well
like,
worth it.
It had like a different flavor to it than just like a Mike and Ike. I'm like more like that Mike and Ike black.
Oh no! Mike and Ike is
Candy.
like
Yeah,
sweet,
no,
sweet,
yeah,
like
yeah.
nothing
I
like.
like that kind of black licorice,
I
No.
like it. I like anisette, man.
and I love anisette, man. Oh my god, I just love it.
We have a Sambuca as well that I'll bring
Sambuca,
for you
too.
next
I
time.
love
Yeah, I love Sambuca. I got a big black bottle of Sambuca at home.
Oh, that's
right
part
now.
of the Bols line.
Yeah, so it's part of the Galliano or Italian portfolio Facari.
Yeah, talk to me about like how expanded, because how expanded is the Italian portfolio?
Okay, it's basically Galliano. We've Galliano Lautentico, which is the authentic recipe. Then we have Ristretto. And Ristretto is Italian for short, strong espresso. It's made from Arabica and Robusta beans.
Mm-hmm.
And Robusta has 5 times the amount of caffeine in a bean naturally anyways. So one shot will pretty much, it's like drinking a shot of espresso, but with alcohol. It
That's
is my
awesome. Where can I get this?
favorite. It is healthy. Winn-Dixie liquor stores have it. All
You're
of them.
kidding me.
Yes.
I-
They have the 375s. It's right next to the regular Galliano.
And is it a dark color? Or?
It's a dark color. It's nothing like the regular Galliano. It's true espresso.
Okay.
And it's
Is it in the same bottle or?
it's the same bottle.
Okay.
Same bottle, but
Okay.
it's dark and it says Ristretto.
I'm gonna try that.
Highly-
Wow, I love that because I love
Oh.
I love the Patron
Cafe.
Cafe XL.
Let me tell you, I got the elbow room
Yeah.
back in when I started with Bulls 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I said, listen, try the Ristretto. And the elbow room was like, I don't
Right.
know. I want to switch Patron XL. I said, just keep it next to each other. I'll pay for it. I'll drink it. I promise. I hang out here
This
often
girl
enough.
is so funny, man. I swear to God, I would go out to bars in like Fort Lauderdale, and there'd be like these bars that had no business having a bottle of Galliano. Had a bottle of I'm like, Tineke's been here, and the thing sticks up like a freaking siren at
Right.
the night. You can just see it. I'm like, I know Tineke's been
Yes.
here.
Come on. It took years.
So you got the elbow room to take
So
it
the
in?
elbow room took it in, and they did actually really well with it, and they stopped carrying Patron XO for a while. It was like funny because they were like people would come up and it's like, I want a baby Guinness with the
Baby Guinness.
Yeah, baby Guinness with the Galliano stuff.
Have you had one of those? He's a huge
No,
Guinness fan.
I love
What
Guinness.
talk to me about Baby Guinness?
a baby Guinness is the name of a shot, so it's really we can't call it that legally.
Wait a minute,
Legally
that
we call
sounds
it baby
familiar.
stout.
I think I might have had that.
It's like 3/4 of Galliano Ristretto and then
Okay.
topped with Irish cream,
Okay,
and it
Okay.
looks like a mini Guinness.
that's awesome.
So-
I think I've had that, but I was already drunk. So.
Do they make him over here at Mickey Burns?
Yeah. Mickey Burns actually has the Ristretto too. Mark, he should.
does, yeah.
Yeah. Mark, if you're hearing this. If you don't, I'll find you. In Ireland, everywhere.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's cool. And so that's sort of on the Galliano side, and then we have Vaccari. So Galliano was made by Arturo Vaccari and then Generale Galliano. So Vaccari is our Sambuca. It's actually the #1 Sambuca in Mexico, believe it or not, sold in Walmart. Like
I believe
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
I believe that. Same thing with that Presidente brandy thing. Like the power of like the Latin, thirst, man. They can make a brand huge.
And they love like anisette flavors. But I have to say, I used Anna Maria, we both know.
Yeah.
I used to go to her house. And it got to the point that my husband would ask me, "Are you deciding to come home tonight?" Because he literally would get a bottle of Sambuca, and I would be like, "I probably shouldn't be driving," and end up at her couch upstairs. So I had to quit drinking Sambuca because you can never just have one.
I know, it's just an amazing,
delicious,
really
like
is.
candy.
I know, you just keep drinking it, and then you're like, okay.
And then of course the with the cafe bean in there, the coffee bean in there.
Yeah, the coffee and Sambuca
it's really nice and bitter when you bite into it. It balances all the sweetness of the Sambuca so well.
All right,
Great.
so I want to do something with you
Cool.
guys.
All right,
something
so
traditionally Dutch before we're done.
I'll get the shower curtain.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
So let me show you. In Holland, how we drink, we're not a cocktail culture. We're trying to get there. But when we drink, we love our spirits so much we drink them straight.
Right.
And we all know that Dutch people are a little bit, one value for our money. So this is a typical tulip glass that will have, every shot will be served in that. And then this is something we created for the Americans so they can understand what we're talking about. So we call this kopstootje. It literally means little headbutt, which sounds retarded. But kopstootje, it's like a cop that stows.
Kopstootje.
Okay.
Kopstootje.
Kopstootje.
Okay, so what we do is that we
It sounds Russian. Kopstootje. Doesn't it?
Wow, I'm
sorry, I didn't mean to insult
There's
you.
a maneuver. I'm reading this. You gotta bend.
Why can't it just sound Dutch? Come on.
It's Dutch. You were there first. You guys
Dutch.
were there first for anything.
Bend
Sorry.
from the waist down and wow.
All right, so it's definitely
we're all
Dutch.
gonna do this ritual.
Scoot to the edge of the bar.
So what we do is that we fill this
She
up.
can say it. We can just do it.
Yeah, fill this up.
Okay, let's see. I'll fill it up.
Here we go.
All right. Ooh, all right. She ain't kidding.
Wow. Oh boy.
The key is to fill it up all the way to the top.
Okay.
Is that part of the challenge?
So
wow, she's good at that. That's insane. Wow, that is really good. Okay.
I started bartending in Amsterdam at 15. This is all we did. Okay. And God forbid you shortened the bar or your guest, and they're like, "This is not full." So that's the point. Okay, now get up. Okay. You're all gonna get up.
Okay. Let's.
Should we have some Kopstootje music playing?
You want to have some Kopstootje music?
I should probably play some Kopstootje music.
Let's do it. Maybe like a polka or something. No,
Put the gin and juice.
Some heavy metal.
Heavy metal's good. Heavy metal's good.
I got the gin and juice. Sorry, that's all I had ready.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so you put your hands behind your back.
Okay.
And then you bend over and you slurp the first bit out of it.
Wow.
Then you take it and you drink the rest.
I'll tell you what.
Like all at once?
All at
a lot.
once.
You know what I get?
And then you chase it with a beer.
I get banana.
Banana?
I don't know.
Maybe.
You're getting all kinds of crazy notes out of these products.
I got like a banana note out of that, which is good. I mean, I really like it. Almost like the vanillin that comes off the barrel.
You see the bottle? It's like the ceramic. It's a cork.
Yeah, so
it's
is that
aged in French oak limousine barrels.
I was going to ask you what they age it and what type of.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's aged in French oak limousine barrels. Very, very relatively short. It's like no more than 2 years. This one we have a 6 and a 10 year in Europe.
That is smooth, baby. That
Sure,
is
right?
good, man. Wow.
And that's it's like I would say do this in something simple like a mint julep.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
I love this one in the Martinez, which is basically sweet vermouth, barrel Genever.
That is awesome.
Maraschino.
Very cool. So we want to definitely thank Tineke for coming in with all her fine Lucas Bols products. I mean, everybody out there.
Delicious.
Yeah, when you enjoy all these products, please do so responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not overconsume. If you're under 21, please wait. If you're pregnant, wait to 9 months. The kid will thank you. And please have a wonderful time. I want you to come back again to ByTheGlassShow.com and SoFloRadio.com and check out all this wonderful beverage culture that we are definitely celebrating on a weekly basis. We're steeped in it. And can you want to plug some stuff? Maybe the websites or Twitters or anything like that?
Okay, so Facebook, we have Bols Cocktails and Bols Bartending. If you want to get some inspired, go to bols.com for some inspiration and buy all our brands. Our Genevers and Damracks are available at Total Wine. And Winn-Dixie Liquor Store has our Damrack and our Galliano brands.
Galliano,
yes,
yeah. I'm going to go get that for sure.
So, and there we'll have our Bols liqueurs there soon as well. So So go to your local bars, go have some fun there. Sweet Nectar has
love
our
Sweet
product.
Nectar. Oh, gotta go down there.
Yeah,
Las Olas.
I think, the Broken Shaker, Region Cocktail Club in Miami, and I love the bar up in Delray Beach.
1926 Hollywood Boulevard.
Fantastic.
You're
Thank you
listening
so
to
much.
SoFloRadio.com.